right, shooting news and reviews, man. We back with another one. I got my energy back today.
Yeah, man, I see you. You look like you from the future this evening. You're on your Men in Black Matrix type vibes. I
Yo,
like it though. You look good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
appreciate that.
knocking
Appreciate that.
it. We gotta address YNW Melly day 9 and 10. We gotta do that.
We gotta do that, man. If we don't do nothing else, we
Yeah,
wouldn't be who we is.
yeah, damn right. You know, this wouldn't be the place for hip hop commentary and cultural criticism if we didn't address the news of the day. Can you believe that we're 3 weeks into the YNW Melly double homicide trial?
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. I mean, we're gonna get to a verdict soon, hopefully.
we're gonna get to a verdict soon. As for anybody who might have missed it, the state of Florida is trying to prove that YNW Melly killed two of his friends and then staged it to look like a drive-by to cover up the crime. That's what we're dealing with. We've been hearing testimony in the last couple days, or nine to be precise, of Danny Polo. He's a gang expert, and he's trying to prove that Melly's in a gang, and he wants to do that because he thinks that gang affiliation could tie into why he killed Sack Chaser and Juvie, the two friends. Um, do you know why he wants to make it a gang thing?
Why?
If he
No.
proves that, that's how they could give Melly the death penalty. Yeah. See, this is
Mm,
Fort Lauderdale. They don't want to just send you to jail. They trying to send you to hell. They giving people the death penalty around here, and you only need 8 out of 12 of the jurors to get that. And if they can prove that he did this in furtherance of a gang, they're
mm,
gonna try to barbecue his ribs. To use a euphemism. So it's looking ugly.
Like an
We
ugly
also
story.
found we also found out that Melly fought Young Boy, NBA Young Boy. And Sack,
Allegedly, or is this you
well,
speaking evidence?
I watched Sack Chaser talk about it online. I didn't pull up the clip, but y'all could go look for that. Sack Chaser talking about fighting YB is online. He gives an account of that, and he also says that Quando Rondo fought Sack Chaser. So Melly fought YB, Sack Chaser fought Quando. It might have been a scuffle where everybody was mixing up. You know how I go. They jumping my dog. I done jumped in and hit me with a two-piece. I done snap back, you know what I'm saying? Shook back.
Yeah.
It was pandemonium. And that's just from what Sack Chaser is saying, and that's what Melly's saying. If we're to believe that these text messages are from Melly. That's what
Right.
they're trying to prove. They also had a doctor say that Sack Chaser and Juvie were shot and killed in a in the car, and the drive-by was later staged. So a doctor is confirming what the prosecution has said from the opening arguments. Now they got a doctor that agrees with that opinion because of the evidence.
Yeah.
The lady said that she did 100 gunshot wound victims, and they all had hemorrhage. So imagine you did this job. You done dealt with 100 gunshot wound victims. They all
Right.
had hemorrhage, right? The blood starts gushing out when they get hit. In this one, certain wounds didn't have the hemorrhage, so they knew that certain gunshot wounds were inflicted after somebody was already gone. So just having a doctor there to confirm that, I think that's kind of like hard for Melly to overcome. What you think about that?
Yeah, I think the forensic science behind it,
Yeah,
I don't know if, it really depends on the jurors because, you're really, everybody's trying to convince these jurors and they're trying to get the jurors on their side. So,
yeah,
how big are the jurors on forensic evidence? If they big on that and it pushes a button for them, yeah, he's going to get his chicken bait. But, you
yeah.
know, if they can prove doubt, is any doubt that this could be a drive-by shooting, I don't know. That's when it's gonna be tough.
I don't know. I don't think anybody reasonable is gonna doubt that these guys were killed in a vehicle at close range. If a doctor is confirming that, I think the doctor's word, like an objective third party that doesn't really have, you know, a dog in the fight. Like they
Yeah.
don't have no reason to lie on Melly. I think that their word holds more weight than Melly's word. It's
Mm,
starting to make it seem like it's going to be hard for people to believe that what he's saying is true. And then
right.
they even had the medical examiner say that they said that it was a close range gunshot to Juvie's cheek. That's not the type of stuff that happens in a drive-by shooting. If somebody's outside of the car, how they gonna be up on your cheek and hit you from close range? And not for nothing, Melly
Mm.
was saying that he wasn't even in the car, like in the back seat, but they got footage from the studio where he's getting in the car in the back seat. So that already is crazy. And then when Bortland got to the hospital, Bortland is saying that, oh, Melly wasn't in the car. You see how that
Right.
doesn't.
Well, I seen on YNW Melly YouTube channel he dropped Portland. I guess he dropped a new video for him. So
Oh yeah,
Portland is
I didn't
out.
know that. You putting me
Yeah.
down deep now. I didn't know. So YNW Melly is still supporting Bortland bars.
Hmm.
That's interesting. Bortland's in trouble too, bro. If this don't go right for Melly, what chance does
I don't
Bortland
think
still?
Portland doesn't have he didn't have the gunpowder residue on his hands. Uh,
Mm.
so I think it's gonna be hard for them to say that he was the shooter, but I
I
don't
mean,
think.
they could say that he assisted with it, and that could get you the same charge. You don't have to actually pull the trigger, but if you riding around with Melly and covering up evidence, and
That's why
like,
Portland really can't snitch. He got to take it to the door too, because it's like
nah, I mean, okay, go ahead, tell me why you can't snitch.
if he probably tells, it's gonna put himself at play. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Maybe he don't know nothing. But Portland, how he came on his music video, I checked it out just because of this case and situation. Seems like he's holding up the code, or he's preaching that he gonna hold the code.
Oh, they gonna preach that in their music, and these guys' music, I'm gonna have to, believe to a certain degree. They're definitely
Yeah.
willing to do some violence. It appears that way to me. That's a picture of Sack Chaser there. Uh, do you think that juries are tainted because of people's rap persona? Is is it possible for them to even get a fair trial, or are people gonna say like, "Yo, these are gangster rappers. Like, they already got, I already believe that they down to do something like that."
Yeah, I believe that, public opinion is already not on YNW Melly's side and any rapper's side if you're going into these courtrooms because of the history of rap music and what they talk about and
Mm-hmm.
the things that happen. You got to wear all of that on your back because of the industry you in. So, yeah, I feel like it's horrible for you to go in the courtroom and they got to look at you as this entertainer,
And
rapper.
they only do us like that. Like, would they do that to Robert De Niro if he got into something? Would the jury be like, uh, De Niro's been in all of these mafia movies. He's more likely to assault somebody or act out in violence. Do you think that he would get the same type of heat that YNW Melly gets for being a rapper?
No, but just like the guy said in our comments, he was saying that because I said every rapper to me, rappers
Yeah,
that come out are like perceived steppers. Like they
yeah.
may have not have stepped, but they do put on the image that they willing to do whatever it has to do to get the job done. So
And this kind of stuff
yeah,
makes me believe them though. Like, look at how many people that we're seeing are willing to step. Those people who don't think that Rondo is a real game member, or maybe he's a member as opposed to a banger, but
yeah.
they're talking about an account where Quando Rondo was squabbling. he getting in the, you know what I'm saying, a little fade. He caught a fade at the studio. This
Okay.
is his name coming up among what are perceived to be real gangsters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like real names are mentioned in Quando, but then at the same time, people will say, "Oh, he ain't real. He's just a rapper." Like, how is he not real if he's getting real charges for it?
Right. It is real. But so that goes to X. Do you feel that rappers are perceived steppers in public
Gang,
opinion?
yeah, that's why I don't think that YNW Melly had a good chance from the beginning.
Yeah.
I never really was of the opinion that he's going to be able to get past this. I felt like he was cooked since the first day, since the opening arguments. And as it goes on, it just seems like it's getting worse. So I think, on top of the facts not being on his side, already his persona is gonna people are gonna have that in their minds if they're at all familiar with the music or just familiar with rappers that kind of look like him. And you know, I will say this, all of that performative gesture shit that YNW Melly was doing, that's at a minimum these last couple of days. They must have got his mind right, and it looked like the evidence is going a different way.
Yeah.
It's not fun and games anymore. So he probably thinking about that too. And I'll tell you, I was listening to this guy Fortunato Perry. He's Beanie Siegel's lawyer, and he was Cassidy's lawyer. You know, Cassidy caught
Yeah.
that ill. Beanie Siegel had things going on with them, you know, letting he's one of those guys that'll let that thing ring. We know that. He got them good situations. And he was saying that he thinks that the most damning evidence against YNW Melly is the medical people saying that the drive-by was a cover-up. He said that's the biggest problem. I'm inclined to agree with that. I don't see how you're gonna get around that. All that stuff that the defense is doing, it seems like it's just not going to be enough. They're trying to question these experts, you know, how they reconstructed the scene and all of that, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to change their mind, bro.
Okay. Well, hey.
Well, before we get finished though, I do want to talk about some highlights from day 10. Just go ahead and put it in there.
Okay.
On day 10, because we went over what happened on 9. On day 10, they had the reconstruction experts say Juvie was shot close range, and it was pretty in depth. This is Local 10 talking about it. Maybe I'll just play a little bit of this.
2018, and then staging the scene to make it appear as if the victims were injured in a drive-by shooting.
Local 10's Leanne Hong joins us live from Fort Lauderdale with the latest from court. Leanne.
Yeah, the only witness today was someone who analyzed all of the evidence and reconstructed how he thought this crime actually played out. And he said that in his belief, this was no drive-by shooting.
Christopher Thomas had an injury to his left cheek. The stippling is indicative of close range fire.
A shooting reconstruction expert on the stand today discussing during direct examination how investigators determined where shots were fired and how.
And could you describe what area of the car did the shots emanate?
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah.
Her side back seat.
Jamel Demons is on trial for the 2018 murders of 19-year-old Christopher Thomas Jr. and 21-year-old Anthony Williams.
Hey, rest in peace, Sack Chaser and Juvie, man. I hope everybody learned from this, man. What did we learn from day 9 and day 10 from the YNW murder trial, Bob?
Just like that, they got evidence of what they say the bullet shot.
You seem like you was kind of on the other side in the earlier episodes when we covered this. Like, you know, he got a good chance of beating it. Do you think that your confidence in the belief that he could beat it is fading? Is it less than it was before, or are you still at the same place?
I felt a public opinion is still strong, so it's like he was already in the. But I looked at his attorney, his defense, his team looked it pretty strong, like he put some dollars behind it. So that's where I gave him the chance from the coaching position. You know, I felt
Yeah.
like he
I'm
make
saying.
it.
So has your confidence gone up or down, or is it at the same place?
It ain't fourth quarter yet. You know, he definitely down 10. You know, it's getting there. So he down a little bit, but you know, he could probably come up with a banger. We'll see how it goes.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, y'all chime in on the comments, man. Let us know what you think. Is he still in good standing? Do they got him on the ropes? Guilty, not guilty? What y'all think? Let us know.
Shrew,